for the event of your choice but can't get one that fits your desire or your budget? Well, my friends, SeatGeek has you covered. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Snake Sports Talk Show. With a list of over hundreds of events to choose from, SeatGeek will assure you that you won't miss your seat with the amazing view of your choice at the most affordable price. Whether it's looking for your best seat in the house of your favorite sports team, finding live concerts to get you closer to your favorite artist, or enjoying your spot at your favorite live shows, comedies, and more, SeatGeek has it all just for you. Go online to SeatGeek.com or download the app on your mobile device through Google Play and the App Store. And as a special offer before checkout, use promo code SNAKESPORTS and save yourself $20 off of your purchase of your first ticket and experience why SeatGeek is the most trusted ticketing app for your next event. Remember, that's SeatGeek.com and download the app on your phone with promo code SNAKESPORTS for $20 off and find your seat with SeatGeek.
And now, broadcasting live from Las Vegas, the Snake Sports Talk Show with Jake Silva starts now.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and live here on a Wednesday in the middle of the week for you. This is the Snake Sports Talk Show. Wherever and however you may be watching and listening, thanks for making us a part of your evening. We're live on all platforms known to man, iHeartRadio, Roku, and all social media. To keeping you up to date on future and past shows, all you got to do is like, follow, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Interviews coming up. We've got one tomorrow. Jay Stevens is going to be joining by Locked on Buckeyes because we're going to be getting ready for another great college football season, and it'll be interesting to say the least. But at least we're taking a lot of time to break some stuff down. So breaking stuff down here tonight, yesterday, the news broke out that Justin Jefferson got the bag. And that only means a couple questions. What's the guarantee? And then what will the market shape for CeeDee Lamb and for Jamar Chase? So Justin Jefferson was just given a 4-year contract extension, and it's worth $35 million per year. And I think this is perfect. I think this is arguably perfect for the Vikings situation for a few reasons. And I'll explain why. Because not only is it that the market's changing, but there are some things that the Vikings that they know that they can basically do. So what is it that we go through in America? There's two things that we go through in America that shape our financial structure: inflation and recession. Those are the two things that affect our financials each time. When inflation happens, prices go up, values go up. Prices of homes start to go up, prices of groceries start to go up, prices of gas now has started to go up. And we know many of us Americans, it's hard to adjust to because sometimes we basically have to look at our pay. But oftentimes when that happens, we deserve to be paid better. We deserve to have, the best income in order for us to, to be stable, to provide food on the table, especially if you've got a family. So that's what inflation basically does. And then the recession is normally when stuff starts to crash down. There's not a whole lot of value there, and you probably would have to end up picking up a lot of things cheaper, and eventually before that market goes back up again. In the NFL, the market now has basically changed. Quarterback market has risen. Wide receiver market has risen. The offensive line market has risen. The edge rushing position has risen. And the only ones that are basically going through the recessions that are on the cheap base are the running backs and also other positions. So Justin Jefferson signed a 4-year, $140 million contract extension, 110 guarantee that would lock him up 35 per year. So now he is the most highest paid wide receiver in the league. And good for him. Because since his career, Justin Jefferson, he's 25 years old, first round pick. In his rookie season, he had 1,400 yards before bumping that total up to 1,600 yards in 21. Then had an NFL best 1,800 receiving yards in 22, but only missed 7 games last season. But he managed to get over 1,000 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns despite missing his quarterback. And that was Kirk Cousins. So what this means for the Vikings, unlike for the Dallas Cowboys, is that the Vikings know that they're bringing in a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal that they're not paying anything. And you've got a bridge quarterback in Sam Darnold. So you're not paying your quarterback anything. You've already paid your tight end. You've already paid for a running back. Jordan Addison's on a rookie deal, so eventually he's going to ask for money. But let's see exactly how things end up panning out for him with his production levels. But Justin Jefferson is the best case scenario for you to basically have as your solidified number one receiver. He's a guy that basically gives you the extra points when it comes to game decisions, when it comes to, win totals. So he's very valuable in that. And the Vikings, we're not sure how J.J. McCarthy is going to pan this out, but I do have an offensive coach in Kevin O'Connell who makes this offense now viable. So this was arguably real good business for the Minnesota Vikings for those areas and those reasons alone. Because you look at other organizations, you look at what their stature is up on offense. Is the quarterback paid? Did they get a franchise quarterback? Is their offensive line, the top best? Like, is it a top 10, top 15? What is it? Do they have weapons? Do they have a run game? So that's what's valuable when it comes to offensive schematics. When you have an offensive coach, it makes it a lot easier on top of that as well. And that's what Kevin O'Connell has served to be. So my opinion with this, I don't mind it. But now the question becomes, what are you going to pay CeeDee Lamb? What are you going to pay Jamar Chase? Because now the wide receiver market has risen and the top dollar is $35 million a year. I think CeeDee Lamb gets at least borderline $30 million. And the reason of that is if you actually go back to stats between CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, who both were in the same draft class, they're practically identical. The only difference is that CD has 2 more touchdowns than Justin Jefferson. But nonetheless, they're both nearly identical because they have over 1,000 receiving yards. I think one has more catches than the other, and I think the other had more targets. But they're practically identical. And it's what I've been talking about with the Dallas Cowboys when it came to figuring out their situation. What do you do with Dak? What do you do with CeeDee Lamb? What do you do with Micah Parsons? As I've said before, the unfortunate series is you franchise tag Dak twice. So now you're going to have to give him the money. But in my opinion, I'd rather be sticking to making my offense viable with the piece that I know that makes that happen, regardless of the quarterback that comes in this organization. And then I'm going to be paying my next top dollar to the guy that I know makes the defense viable. So if I'm the Cowboys, in my opinion, I'd be extending CeeDee Lamb and I'd be extending Micah Parsons. Those are the 2 big-time pillars that will make with what the Cowboys are. And then you could bring in another quarterback. But the other problem, though, is too, and what could have made this more solidified, is that the Dallas Cowboys had a number 2 receiver. Unfortunately, they did not. Michael Gallup, honestly, was another Terrence Williams and just couldn't stay on the field healthy enough. Then you bring in a special teams guy, Kevondre Turpin, which he's only there for special teams. And then you have Brandon Cooks. And yeah, he showed up in a lot of those areas, but even that didn't work. And then you tried bringing in Martavis Bryant. So I don't know what you do here. I mean, in my opinion, I'd be going and getting another receiver because this offense is a CeeDee Lamb injury away from this thing crumbling, and you could feel it. This is why I think the Cowboys need to extend CeeDee Lamb to protect him, give him that blanket now before that even happens. Because at that point, he gets injured and there's no contract. Things are going to really get spicy. You just saw Justin Jefferson get the bag. Jamar Chase's is probably a little bit of a different scenario because in the end, you're choosing a receiver, Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. I think they take Chase over T. Higgins any day of the week because I do think he is very dynamic. And what you look with, like Justin Jefferson coming from LSU, he's got great hands, he's got great separation, he's got great speed. But of course, sometimes if you miss up some time, it does kind of hinder you a little bit, but you still do get paid top-notch dollars. But you are seeing with how the market's changing, and it's changing everywhere. It's changing all over in America. People these days, and this is what it is when it comes to, it doesn't matter what field you are in, but sometimes when you see a market change, there's new money that's out. There's the financials have started to shift. There's going in a different direction. And then all of a sudden, gas prices get expensive. Groceries get expensive. Housing markets start getting expensive, especially with that ridiculous interest rate. You got to find a way to get past that curve. So, of course, you're going to go up and look up at the big man, especially for those who have given great job performances. You're going to basically be like, I've worked as hard as I did. I deserve this. And you're not going to go in there with such utter demands because then that makes you arrogant. But you're going to go in there with a smart, sharp mind because you've done your homework. You've kept up on financials every day. I don't know if people basically watch MSNBC, but it doesn't matter. You're watching the market change. So I think for CeeDee Lamb, I'd be asking for that money. I'd be asking for at least a $30 million, $31 million guaranteed per year. I don't think he'll get somewhere of 35. That's just pushing it because you're trying to guarantee two players instead of one. I'd be trying to get two players. In a realistic world, you probably will not be able to secure all three. So you got to make a decision. But I mean, that was one of the things that I wanted to basically break down and talk about because I thought that was the most important thing that was on my mind that I was just like, I'm watching this market change and man, these guys are getting paid big time top-notch dollars and it is insanity. But this is the world we live in. And I got to basically lump to it. So, but in the end, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But then when you look at, Jerry Jones and the Jones family and how they basically pay a lot of their guys, it's not every time you go to Dallas, it's like a payday. So that's normally what it is for a lot of players. But sometimes, who are they going to pay? That's usually the question. Who do they see that they see is very valuable to them? And that's the serious question. All right. Got a lot more stuff to basically talk about around the corner, but I'm excited for what the Stanley Cup playoffs is going to be. So the Edmonton Oilers defeated the Dallas Stars. They are now in the final. And you know what? It's about damn time and good for Connor McDavid. Because we have been waiting years and years for this. And at the same time, he's a polarizing player, arguably one of the top-notch in the one major sport in hockey. He's the best at it. And so to see him in the Stanley Cup final against the Florida Panthers, either way, this should be a great series. I see this one going all the way into 7. And in the bottom half of the hour today, I have a game to play with all of you guys called This or That. Basically choosing a lot of the top-notch players from a couple categories. Who am I taking over the other from both sides? So I've got one from one side, one on the other, and who I think is better in that category. So, but the fact of the matter is that who I wish that I also would hope for that would make it up all the way up to the top at some point is Mike Trout. That's the next person on my wish list. And so it kills me to basically see how horrendous the Angels organization seriously is. Like, I cringe every time when I see it right there in front of me. And again, I'm hoping Mike Trout's okay. But at some point, you got to do this right. I understand I understand loyalty. But that stuff went right out the door. The second that you started seeing players getting paid, you started seeing players getting traded, you started seeing a lot of players ask for big time demands. Loyalty was out the door a while ago. It's hard. And so I could feel for Mike Trout what he's going through. The organization that he's playing for is pathetic and it's pitiful. But when you look at Connor McDavid, I almost thought the same. I thought the same similar thing about Edmonton for years. They could not get a number two. They could not get guys that were matching up to his speed and especially his puck passing, like his precision passes. And then not to mention, he could score a goal all by himself on his own and still at a young age. So the Oilers now have finally climbed it. And now they're here in the Stanley Cup final. And I give them credit. Lots of players have been playing very well up to this point. The only position that I'm very suspect of is the goaltending. That's it. I thought there were two pieces on defense that I really did like. Defense, it's kind of shaky, but I love their offense. Hyper aggressive, much like a lot of teams in the Western Conference. They basically are filled with speed. And then at the same time, they match themselves up well against Florida. That's why I think I'm going to get an offensive scoring fest in all 7 games. I feel like this is a series that could go the distance that way. But good for Connor McDavid because it's been about time and he finally makes it here. You saw how many times he got frustrated on national television. He's frustrated. He's pissed. He wants to get there. Many players have basically expressed about this when it came to like the Dallas Stars. I'll be talking about them after the break because I feel for them. The Dallas Stars tried any and everything that they possibly could for Pete DeBoer and for Joe Pavelski. It's hard. I know. I get it. But this is the kind of stuff that they go through. It's a challenge. Unlike the Super Bowl, the World Series, and the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final and the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win. You're getting your ass kicked all 7 games. And you're taking shot after shot, shove after shove, punch after punch, anytime that you end up getting into a fight. So it gets aggressive. It gets violently aggressive. But it's the entertainment of hockey. So I think the Edmonton Oilers, they have at least a good solid chance. How good of a chance is, I'll show you here at least on the bottom half of the hour. But good stuff, man. I mean, I'm curious with how this series is going to pan out. I think the Oilers and the Panthers both have very good offenses. Both have they just have great chances of winning faceoffs. They got great chances of spreading the puck around and attacking at certain points. So they know how to do that well. So I'm excited about this or that. This one's going to be a lot of fun. All righty, folks. Well, with the Stanley Cup Final and, of course, the NBA Finals cooking up, that means that we've got an awful lot to break down, and our best partners at BetUS have exactly the breakdowns you need with some of the best betting lines in the country. BetUS has been doing this thing for over 30 years. NBA Final, Stanley Cup Final, Major League Baseball play. We got all of it here on BetUS. And we also have fun, entertaining casino entertainment games as well. Those of you who love slots, for those of you who love poker, for those of you who love blackjack, whatever your desire, BetUS has it all there just for you. You put $50 down or more in your deposit, you'll get 200% in bonuses with 30 risk-free bets to go on top of it. Give BetUS a try by going to BetUS.com. Gambling problem, call the local number of each of your state to prevent gambling addiction. Gamble responsibly and choose BetUS. BetUS, where the game begins.
Check out the Con Man live on the Sports Corner, coming to a screen near you, giving you the greatest stories from basketball legends you've never seen before. Sharing their glory, building the toughness, and how they show off their swag. But only one man knows all that, and that's the Con Man. Join Michael Conceição, the Con Man at the Sports Corner, Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific on Sportsway Network.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Around the world of sports, jam-packed with an all-star interview lineup, then the best place to find it all, sports and entertainment, is right here. Join Jake Silva on the Snake Sports Talk Show, presented by SeatGeek and BetUS. Weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsway Network.
Snake Sports Talk Show is sponsored by Muscle Tech, with hundreds of supplements and vitamins to choose from, all packed with 100% all-natural proven ingredients. You can be sure that Muscle Tech will give you the edge and the boost to train and look like your fit and healthy best, whatever your goals are. Try Muscle Tech today and use promo code SNAKESPORTS to save 30% off your purchases.
If I want it, gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving.
Don't lose your seat when you end up going online to SeatGeek.com for all of your seat ticketing needs at your next event at the most affordable price. That's SeatGeek.com. Promo code SNAKESPORTS for $20 off your first purchase of your first ticket when you use it. Also on your mobile device, Google Play, and the App Store. So what a crushing blow for the Dallas Stars, for one, because, and again, this Western Conference final was basically just a wrap at the end of the day. Jake Ottinger definitely played his ass off when it came to, making up big time saves, basically getting the Stars as close as they possibly could. And unfortunately, it had to be cut short. So Joe Pavelski, who's been in the league for a very long time, well respected, I think arguably was one of the many best forwards without a title. And very much a class act, too. Spent all of his long career in San Jose before coming to Dallas and bringing in that veteran experienced leadership. And so Joe Pavelski was thinking he would have came into an organization where they could have won the Stanley Cup. They could have gotten there. And I feel for him, and I also feel for Pete DeBoer, because Pete DeBoer has been to the Stanley Cup twice in his career and has not won a single one. And he's bounced around the league. I mean, you go from the times from when he was up there, with Jersey or Carolina, and then you had him at San Jose, got the Sharks to a Stanley Cup, then goes to the Vegas Golden Knights in hopes he would have gotten a Stanley Cup there, but that wasn't the case. Bruce Cassidy ended up beating him the next year to do that, and then goes to Dallas, and once again, in the conference final, he falls short. That's 4 straight. If I am correct about it, that's 4 straight conference finals he's lost. So in 21, correct it, 2020, he took the Vegas Golden Knights to the Western Conference final against the Dallas Stars and lost. Rick Bowness was coaching that team, and Dallas made it to the final. The following year, against the Montreal Canadiens, gets to the conference final again after a readjustment of all of the divisions because of COVID. Got to the conference final and lost again. And then he was canned his job after that season because it was injury plagued. The Golden Knights were underachieving. So it was actually 4 conference finals in 5 years from there. That's 4. And so by that point, when he first gets hired on with the Dallas Stars, goes to the conference finals, loses against the Golden Knights and Bruce Cassidy, they go on to win the Stanley Cup that year. And then this year, they face the Edmonton Oilers in the conference final and lost. People are like, when is Pete DeBoer going to get a break? Because that's 4 conference finals in 5 years and cannot end up making it. So, but the first piece of audio I have for you, for my viewers and listeners, but this was basically talking about Joe Pavelski. If this is it, this is potentially the last, and what it meant to a lot of the players and what he meant to the league. Hold up, we're missing audio on that. Let me bring it back. So while we get the audio, okay, here we go. Here's the audio now.
How much has Joe meant to this team? Obviously, you don't know what the future holds, but just to this point, what is he? ask about Joe. Yeah, I mean, he's since day one since he's been in here, he's not everything in our group. You know, on the ice, off the ice, all our golf games. He's improved all those. You know, just an amazing person to have.
The girls, all-time teammate person, good leader.
You left the ice with Joe, lived with him. If this is it, what has he meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot. Yeah, I thank him and his family enough for what they've done for me.
How much has
Yeah, and it's very emotional because of the fact that Joe Pavelski has yet to have even won a Stanley Cup in his career because he's spent a long amount of time in this league and had to basically go through a lot of these spurts. It's hard. And even Tyler Seguin, one of the other forwards, basically talked about how hard it is to get to the Stanley Cup final and hoist the trophy.
Hockey's hard, you know. You need a lot of things to go right. You need to have that opportunity. We had that opportunity. We went through a gauntlet and beat some really good teams, and knew we had something special. And lost to a team that we thought we could beat. And sometimes that's playoffs. Sometimes it's that one bounce, that one goal, one save. That's why we all love it. That's why this is the hardest damn trophy in the world to win. With respect to the Oilers, they've been grinding for years, and I know some of those guys pretty well from back in Toronto, and wish them the best next round. Series where you felt like it sort of turned was like maybe game 4 when they got that shorthanded goal. There was a moment in this series till the buzzer just now where I thought we weren't going to win or didn't deserve to win or thought that we could earn it, and we didn't. And that's what playoff hockey is.
Yeah, it's what playoff hockey basically is. You're being asked to basically execute a task and to try to get this team over the top. Unfortunately, they could not end up doing it. And I feel for the Stars, I feel for Pete DeBoer, but I mostly feel for Joe Pavelski. The fact that he basically has to go through a long career and yet not win a title it's gut-wrenching. And he was the most respected and class act type player. I rooted for him a lot because out of all the challenges and the adversities that he's had to face in his career, nothing is harder than this. And that's where I think a lot of people kind of feel for him too. But again, what an amazing career. Nonetheless, I wish him the best of luck in his retirement. But again, just a sad ending in the end. Not even able to smell that trophy, not even getting a chance to play for that trophy. He's done it, but just never. He was close, but with no cigar, never came up that close. Time now for the hot press.
This is the hot press.
All right, so some things cooking up on the hot press lately. And so we got at least a couple of news from here. But so we got the NBA Finals that's going to be coming around here in just about this weekend. But a lot of players have spoke up upon this. But one player in particular who's playing for the Boston Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis, basically explained about what it will be like playing against the Dallas Mavericks, and furthermore, what this also means playing against Luka and the Mavs, and saying there's no ill will towards them. So basically, Porzingis said, not all of it was not good. We had some good moments, we had some decent moments, But overall, it just didn't work for both sides. It wasn't perfect, but I would say everything, teammates, locker room. I know at that time there were some rumors that there was something in the locker room. It was never like that. It was all just noise at the end. It just wasn't perfect for us playing together, and it didn't work out, and that's it. There's no ill will, I don't think, from their side for sure. From my side, I don't think there should be. It just didn't work out, but I have nothing but love for Dallas and for my teammates and for everybody there. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be meaningful for Kristaps Porzingis, nonetheless, because the fact that he's played under this organization. And I remembered how that worked. Because in the end, I mean, I'm watching a really, really good finals where both these teams, I mean, they could play out any and every way that they possibly can. This is going to be interesting because you've got the Celtics that know exactly how to play with a certain percentage when it comes to, attacking the perimeter. They shoot from three. The other thing is, you also look at a guy like Jaylen Brown, who knows how to play really good quality defense. The only question mark that I have is this finally going to be Jason Tatum's moment where he ends up shining? Because that's always been the humongous question mark that we've been waiting for. But will it be there? I'm not entirely sure, but I do think there's going to be a part of that it'll be interesting to see nonetheless. So a lot of that I think people kind of break this down and how all of this is really going to pan out from the end of it. But I think it'll be great. I think I'm going to get a really good series nonetheless, much like I would when it comes to the Oilers and the Panthers. So I think you're going to get a very, very good look from both those sides and how all of it's going to really work out. And so, yeah, I think this is really going to end up panning out well for both sides. I think it'll be entertaining. But if you're the Celtics, I'd be ending this thing in 6 games. Then I would get that thing to 7, because by the time that happens, yeah, that's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. So, yeah. So I think it'll be interesting nonetheless. Moving forward into other news as well surrounding us. Basically talking about the NFL. So just recently we've heard about the Chargers and what they basically have said. But actually, here's the news that we should be getting to. So here we go. The Cleveland Browns. It is in fact official today. So the Cleveland Browns have agreed to extend both Coach Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry to extensions. So the lengths of the deals were not announced, but it was been said that the Cleveland Browns will end up extending head coach Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry. Team announced it today, retaining decision-making duo that has guided the franchise since the 2020 season. It's Stefanski and Berry. The Browns have found the coach-GM pairing the franchise has longed for since returning to the NFL in 1999. So since 2020, the Browns had the highest winning percentage of .552 for the team over a 4-year stretch since 86 to 89. And during this is what the Haslams basically had to say about both of these great leaders. We are incredibly fortunate to have Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry leading the Cleveland Browns. Since the day they were hired, each has worked tirelessly to help the Cleveland Browns win. We are proud of what they and the team have achieved. But Kevin and Andrew would be the first to say that Browns fans deserve even more. Their leadership, collaborative approach, and ability to overcome obstacles bode well for the future of this franchise. Last season was a prime example, despite facing multiple player injuries and using 5 different starting quarterbacks. Andrew and his staff built a roster that adapted well, while Kevin and his staff led the team to its second playoff appearance in 4 years, earning Coach of the Year honors for the second time in that period. They are 2 of the brightest people we know and selfless people who only care about what is best for the Cleveland Browns. We are thrilled that Kevin and Andrew will remain with the team for the future. So there's our news there. Because at least with the Cleveland Browns, they have kept with their guys. And so I like this because Kevin Stefanski, since he's entered with the Cleveland Browns, I mean, I knew he was going to be a really good coach by the time I watched him, as an offensive coordinator in Minnesota and how things were basically working out from there. He was deserving of the head coaching job. He makes the offense better, makes them much more innovative, and it just makes sense. I like it. It really has paved the way to where Cleveland can now build their timeline of relevance now. I mean, you saw it in 4 seasons where they made it to 2 playoff appearances. And now you've got both of them extended. It was right for the Cleveland Browns to basically do this. And the only thing is the question mark this year, can Deshaun Watson really get over the top now this time? In an undistracted season where he's at camp, he's at OTAs, working on his craft to where he could really make this offense really blossom. And Andrew Berry, by the way, since he's been the general manager of this club, he's really turned a lot of things around. They had picked up a lot of quarterbacks because they went through 5 starting quarterbacks at that tenure, but he also picked up really, really good defensive pieces like Grant Delpit and Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward. There were so many really, 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 really good quality players. Defense is what has helped to bail them out of some of these games. But if they could get that offense right, but here's the other thing too. They traded for Amari Cooper. They traded for Jerry Jeudy. They have David Njoku still on this roster. Nick Chubb is going to be coming back from injury. And they've even had a guy, Jerome Ford, who we saw him run in a bunch of spurts, and he did fairly well. So I think that the track line of relevance is there to stay for the Cleveland Browns for a long time. The more you have this duo, Cleveland, their chances of smelling a championship could be there on the horizon. But it'll be interesting to say, none the least, how this team really reacts to it and how this team will get better with it day in and day out. But I'm happy for them. I think this was well deserved, and it was much, much needed up into the end. So great stuff. All right, that was your hot press there, folks.
This is the hot press.
So I know a lot of people have been reacting to recently of the comments and all the rest of the other stuff about the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and the Kennedy Carter stuff. Listen, folks, can I be honest with you? This is thus the reason why that I do not pay attention to mainstream media. And it's also why I don't even own cable in my own household. Because I would like to have the power and control to control exactly what I'm watching without somewhere in the middle, something that just, again, I have so many words for. But everybody is freaking out about this. Well, Caitlin Clark gets shoved, and Caitlin Clark, where's her teammates? Listen, folks, this is sports. This is sports. Get politics the hell out of these sports. Seriously. It doesn't help. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Many more people are talking about the WNBA more than ever before. But you know what? Like, Angel Reese has come out with a bunch of comments basically saying, like, Caitlin Clark's getting all this, but don't forget it's also with me as well. Did Chicago really draw up a crowd for Angel Reese only? Last time I checked, and thanks to our good sources, but Caitlin Clark, since she's been there in Indiana, that place has already had 17,000 people in the building. Angel Reese is only averaging about like 5,000, if not a little bit more, but is nowhere close to the polarizing effect that Caitlin Clark has. She's amazing. And the thing about it is, too, in her rookie class, she is outscoring all of them. She's outscoring all of them on a lot of categories. So I'm not going to basically bash on Angel Reese, because the only thing that Angel Reese is doing is she's basically trying to portray as the villain in Caitlin Clark's journey. And that's okay. I'm all for it, because it's what makes the sport better. It's what makes the sport grand. But I'm going to just tell you this, that there have been women in my lifetime that I have watched from a sports standpoint that have played scrappy. You want to ask how many girls softball players have basically played scrappy as they did, whether it was in the high school or the collegiate, or hell, even in the Olympic level? Go ask Jenny Finch. I mean, I have watched a lot of these women play absolutely spectacular. And look, we know with where they are, okay? They're not trumping the men, because men are more physical, men are more capable on some of those things than women are, respectfully. But women do play to competition too. And that's the respect line. No other side is going to cross that. So when you play against a lot of women, like when women play against women, it is a fair competition nonetheless. And that's the way that we got to keep it that way. Men against men, women against women. That's it. No exceptions. So, but when you watch these women basketball players, and what's funny about this is, you watch Steph Curry, and like, go back, you watch Steph Curry and Candace Parker. Steph even mentioned it multiple times, like, damn, Candace Parker can play. Well, yeah, Candace Parker is arguably one of the best women's basketball players there. Between her, Lisa Leslie, lots of players. And you look at what the popularity right now, because this is the golden age of the WNBA right now, because a lot of these draft picks and Caitlin Clark and the way that things are basically playing, I mean, go ask MJ how that road to success really worked out for him. It was not easy. Caitlin doesn't even care, because Caitlin, she's got a bit of that tomboyish mentality, because she's grown up with two brothers in her household. So for mainstream media to just freak out about this, take a deep breath. Maybe take a Xanax while you're at it. But relax. The fact of the matter is this: WNBA is getting noticed. And it's finally starting to build its popularity. Because if any of you recall when sports had its fun time, what do I mean by that? Olympic women's softball, arena football. You always had the College World Series, both men and women. You had college hoops between men and women. And right now, WNBA is making the big pivot. That's what it is. Once you get a polarizing player in a specific sport, man or woman, it is great how much that we can respect the product. Now, I know a lot of people are basically roughing her big time. But think about this. Look at what's been happening with Connor Bedard all through his rookie season with the Chicago Blackhawks. Everybody's been basically targeting the kid, because I've been saying it. He may be next in line right after Connor McDavid. And Connor's in his name, but The kid is remarkable. The kid is fast. The kid can score. The kid is willing to put the team on his shoulders. So I don't want to hear this stuff. It's okay. And honestly, I like a bit of attitude. I like a bit of hero-villain type story. I'm okay with that. So if Angel Reese basically wants to portray as the villain, let her. Whatever. I don't care. But I think when you look at it, when it comes to Caitlin Clark's journey, all it's doing is it's paving up the way. She knows how intimidated she is by Caitlin Clark. You could see it on her face. You could see it on some of her comments that she basically makes, whether it's smart, snarky, trying to throw little jabs here and there, whatever it is, you could tell she's intimidated. But that's the point. So, going to take a quick break. But when we do come back, we will have our this or that. We're going to have our game to play for the Stanley Cup edition, because tomorrow that's when we're going to have the NBA Finals edition for it. Coming up next here on the Snake Sports Talk Show.
Snake Sports Talk Show is sponsored by Muscle Tech, with hundreds of supplements and vitamins to choose from, all packed with 100% all-natural proven ingredients. You can be sure that Muscle Tech will give you the edge and the boost to train and look like your fit and healthy best, whatever your goals are. Try Muscle Tech today and use promo code SNAKESPORTS to save 30% off your purchases.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
All right, folks. Well, the moment that you all have been waiting for is finally here. We get to play our game, Stanley Cup Final Edition, this or that. So I've got it for the Stanley Cup here tonight, and I will have it for the NBA Finals tomorrow. This one I'm really curious about, and I'm really excited about, because I do think both these sides, like I said, they're going to be hyper aggressive on offense. They're going to be relentless to the extent. I think they've definitely have played up well to get up to this point. So here we go with this or that. Cue it up. All right, so with our this and that, who are we first showcasing? So, this or that, would I rather take Connor McDavid or Alexander Barkov? So, to me personally, when it comes to the captain standpoint, I am going to respectfully take Connor McDavid. The reason of this is because I do like Alexander Barkov, but Connor McDavid is just ridiculous. The speed, the scoring capability, and not to mention his precise puck passing skill is out of this world. And you already knew he was going to blow this away by a long shot. But Alexander Barkov, he's a good player. He's got good size. He's got a really good slap shot as well when it comes to the offense. But he doesn't produce nearly as close as to what Connor McDavid does on a daily basis. So moving on. So that, the Robin, Leon Draisaitl, or Matthew Tkachuk. Honestly, if you had to ask me with as far as how I feel about this particular face-off, I'm going Leon Draisaitl. Nothing against Matthew Tkachuk. I like Tkachuk. But Leon Draisaitl in the last couple of years has served up to be a really good Robin for Connor McDavid in multiple areas, because the guy has scored over 50-plus goals. He's already gotten over 100 points in the last couple of seasons that he's played on. So he has served to really be bigger and better as that Robin Because even though Matthew Tkachuk has come into a really good situation since coming out of Calgary, I mean, you are getting the best of these players, but I think Draisaitl's been doing this for quite a while. I'm going to take Leon Draisaitl here in this matchup. All right, the next matchup, the X Factors. Who would I take, Zach Hyman or Sam Reinhart? So this was tough, to be honest. But I'm going to go with Sam Reinhart on this one. So I'm not taking anything away of what Zach Hyman has done this season. Sam Reinhart did just a little better. And the thing about Sam Reinhart is that he's willing to come in. If any of the guys are playing inconsistent or there's an injury break, Sam Reinhart is going to be the guy to end up going and getting in a score any way that he can. He's got good skates. He's at the same time, he's opening up for a lot of options for him to basically pass or score. Zach Hyman is capable of doing the same similar thing, which is why that I'm like, when you look at that time that he had in Toronto and now being in Edmonton and he serves up well in this roster, I mean, they're both just about as similar, if not identical, but I think Sam Reinhart, I'm going to go with him on this side with this one. All right, the goalies, Stuart Skinner or Sergei Bobrovsky? No question, Sergei Bobrovsky. The thing about Bobrovsky is he's having a hell of a postseason. His goals against average, since Ottinger now has been eliminated, he's now stands as one of the best, and he's also been somebody that has gained a lot of experiences through this. He's an elite goaltender, and the other thing is that he has a really, really good defense. Like, he has a very good defensive specialty in front of him. And the other thing is that he's willing to get his body up in front. I know how people felt about the first year. He got that 7-year contract signing with Florida after coming out of Columbus. I mean, people didn't like it, but here's the thing, though. You needed to give it time for this thing to cook. And sure enough, it has. And I think Sergei Bobrovsky is certainly serving to be that goaltender that many of us, I think, can argue is capable of this. Stuart Skinner, I mean, he was having a rough postseason all the way through. They're going to have to figure it out, but I think that's where Florida's got that edge. I'll go with Bob. All right. Next one, the defender, Evan Bouchard or Gustav Forsling. This was very tight for me, but the side I'm going to go with Evan Bouchard. He is having a hell of a postseason this year. He's already scored up a couple goals. He's helped out in the assisting department, but he's also got a very good plus-minus when it comes to giving quality defense. I get so skeptical about their defense whenever I look at Darnell Nurse and I look at a couple of other defensemen there. But Zach Hyman or Evan Bouchard, I got to tell you, is the real deal of it. And he's having a heck of a postseason. He had a heck of a year, and it's led all the way up to this point. I'm going to go with Bouchard here. All right. The specialists, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or Carter Verhaeghe. So they both were just about as similar, if not identical, in that department. But this might shock some of you. I'm going to go Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So I like Carter Verhaeghe, and he has scored 3 more goals than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins this postseason. But the thing about Nugent-Hopkins is he does have that ability to spread the puck around any part of the ice. He has that ability to where he could basically score up. But he's the guy that sets the tone so that guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can go and make the execution themselves. So I think this was right. Honestly, I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he serves up more as that pivotal factor that we look for as far as the specialist is concerned, because he can play basically all around. He's having a decent postseason nonetheless, but count on him to basically be that guy to help be the tone setter for the offense. All right, next up. Finally, the coach. Chris Knobloch or Paul Maurice? I'm taking Paul Maurice. I have not I have not seen enough, and no disrespect to Chris Knobloch, but I have not seen enough of like what he is about for me to even make that comment or even make that point that I think he is definitely the coach that can trump Paul Maurice. Paul Maurice now is in his second Stanley Cup final, and he's having a remarkable season. I mean, they fixed up the offense. For one, because they got Kyle Okposo and they got Vladimir Tarasenko. They got the much-needed offense, like their depth that they needed, that they lacked last season. They weren't able to do it. Vegas Golden Knights were coming out of the woodwork hot. And what Paul Maurice, love his character, love exactly how he attacks a lot of certain situations. That's why I think he's very much the option I would consider from there. So, yeah, there you have it. Paul Maurice there is my coach that I would definitely take in this postseason. And, yeah, I mean, people can agree, disagree, but I mean, I thought it was pretty fun. I liked it. I'm going to have one for the NBA Finals, so tune in for that as well tomorrow. It'll be so much fun, but like all things, we got to wrap it up here for tonight. Thank you all for joining me here tonight on a lovely evening here in Denver, Colorado. Appreciate all of you guys for being on here with us. Tomorrow night, Jay Stevens of Locked On Ohio State Buckeyes is going to be joining us talking about college football preview. Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, Ryan Day. And we're going to be talking a lot about breaking down with the Buckeyes and what we should expect for next season. This show is sponsored by BetUS. BetUS, where the game begins. When you end up depositing $50 or more into your account, you'll get 200% bonuses with 30 risk-free bets when you play and sign up. All the best betting lines to choose from. And also, the show is sponsored by SeatGeek. Don't lose your seat on your next event at the most affordable price with SeatGeek.com. On your mobile device through Google Play and the App Store, use promo code SNAKESPORTS for $20 off of your first purchase of your first ticket. Don't forget about it before checkout. All right? Great deal for you guys. Love for you guys to enjoy. Experience why SeatGeek is the most trusted ticketing app right now in sports. So check it all out for yourself. Live in Denver. All social medias, Roku, iHeartRadio. This is Jake Silva signing off. See you guys later, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the next edition of the Snake Sports Talk Show. Take care, guys.